International Relations Analyst Professor Chris Isike joins us now for more. Good evening. Thanks for joining us here on Late Edition.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
How do you think President Cyril Ramaphosa handled, firstly, the United States not participating in summit, secondly, the debacle around handing over the G20 chairmanship to the USA, and then now with the USA saying that South Africa won't be allowed to participate in the next G20 summit?
Well, look, I think that the president handled it well in terms of the absence of the United States at the G20 summit. It was very measured in ensuring that avenues were kept open, to the US until the very last minute. And I think the one area where there are those who think that it should have, been pandered more, if you like, to the US, the handover ceremony, allow the US charge their affairs, to take over from South Africa. However, I believe that was not. That position that the president took was satisfactory, because that was a leader summit. The charge of affairs did not rise to that particular level. But the point is that no matter what you do, because this is the issue. There are two issues here. The one is that you are dealing with a President Trump that no matter what you do, you cannot really please once his mind is made up about you. So, even if the president pandered to the highest that he can go, the outcomes for him would have still be the same for President Trump, who would still do what he wants to do. The second point is that President Trump does not particularly respect weakness. So that's something that people should bear in mind. And then, of course, the issue with the fact that Trump is one actor. There's another actor here, which is the U.S. Congress, that went ahead, to take actions against South Africa in terms of removing South Africa from benefiting from the AGOA. That is a different actor, and what South Africa must do is to ensure that they understand the different actors at play, and then devise different strategies for engaging with both. So the President Trump on the one hand, and then the U.S. Congress, Senate on the other hand.
I do want to actually touch on that, the AGOA agreement, which came to an end at the end of September. And now we wait for it to be renewed, if it is renewed next year. But then, as you say, United States Senator John Kennedy says that South Africa will not be included in that. Well, at least that's what's contained in his bill. What would this mean for South Africa in terms of, firstly, their exports and the economy, and also its standing in the global economy?
Well, it won't affect South Africa's standing in the global economy, because everyone knows that South Africa is being punished not for any wrong thing it has done, but based on lies and disinformation peddled against South Africa as a country and its peoples. So that the punishment being removed from AGOA is not a function of South Africa's weaknesses or inabilities, in that regard. The good thing that has happened is that it presents an opportunity for South Africa to diversify some of these. Already doing so with the European Union, with the Gulf states, and of course an opportunity to pivot to the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which is a huge market for South Africa.
How important is it for South Africa to mend relations with the United States? Because it's clear they are under stress at this point.
Well, it's useful to mend relations with the United States, but it should also be approached from a point of view, position that the United States also needs South Africa as much, not as much as South Africa needs it, of course, but we can't pretend that the United States does not need South Africa. So that's the one point. It will be useful for South Africa to try its level best to mend the relations, and I think that they are behaving like the adults in the room, trying to use diplomatic channels, correct languaging, framing, to deal with the United States. However, I would not advise that they put too much effort to it to the detriment of the country, especially its national interest and prestige. Those are more important than keeping a good relations with the US for a presidency that is going to be out of power for in the next 3 years or so. And let's not forget that after 2026, President Trump could become a lame duck president as well. So reducing the relations with the United States to this one president would be a mistake. We can continue to engage on all channels, including members of Congress, the Senate, civil society that views South Africa favorably from America. All of these channels should be, engaged, maturedly, proactively, respectfully, but at the same time without compromising South Africa's national interests and prestige, like I said before.
Thank you so much for making time for us this evening. Thank you very much. That was International Relations Analyst, Professor Chris Isike.